together at one time at the end.
Susan Darrow, just a quick question. Resolution 228, police department to provide support church for sale to the public. What is that for? About?
You're gonna answer at the end. You're gonna answer all the questions at the end.
Oh, okay. All right. Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
We were down at the pool for the night out, and the pool complex looked fantastic. And it was great. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you, please.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I have two questions. First of all, in the honest speak for the agenda tonight, I have question for
Can you
the,
please state your name and address?
my name is
please?
Thomas Yo, 300 Pilot Avenue. Today I press for agenda 225 and 226. So, could you explain us what happened to Shawnee and Montreal officers? Is the police station police for missing the culprit? If Shawnee and the Montreal officer miss the party, they should be brought to justice. If they break the law, they should be punishment. What are you going to for them? You want to know, you want to know, you need to know. Okay, now the second thing. Can I continue here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tomasio, and student Highland Avenue. Dear Mayor, thank you for so much giving the opportunity to speak with you and DA Lorenzo. I want to speak Office of State Control report. Mr. Kevin was reported on March 2nd, 2021 as follows. Today, cost sick leave payout. According to the Office State Controller, Mr. Kevin was reported that Partisan Park gave sick leave payout employee 4 years in violation of state law. The state of the Office of State Controller Kevin said the law is very clear on this. Sick time is an essential benefit that allow employees to recover when they are sick. Another way, employees to qualify boost their salary. How are you going to collect the money back? You are breaking the law. Second, gas card. The Office of the State Controller, Mr. Kevin Wilson, report A. Lorenzo let multiple employees buy gas for their personal car using the taxpayer money on borrowed issued fuel card. That spent $120,000 on gas in 1 year. That's a small town. This $120,000. This is tax money for the residents. OSC investigation conclude borrowed employees are enjoying the benefit of the spending taxpayer money on gas for their personal use and with no oversight. Okay, Mr. Lorenzo, please answer the question below. Why does the report mention the gas card management manage it this way? Why don't you solve this problem caused by you about gas card? What are you doing after receiving this New Jersey State Control report? The tax paid by the resident is not your personal money. Whose responsibility is this? It's your team's negligence duty. I am very strongly request to Borough Club Cleanup team to get the operating call. 6 day payment, just one second.
Time's up. Time's up.
Okay, 6 day payment, cash card. Okay, I will continue again.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Brother David Russo, 429 10th Street. We have a problem on 10th Street with property that has been abandoned, or I don't know, but it's 415 10th Street. We had 5-foot weeds growing in the front and the side, and now in the back it's worse. Someone did show up about a month ago front down, but the back where animals are living, and there's a 2-year-old baby right next door. The people who are there have a problem with the language, Russian and Lebanese. They said to me, and the owner, who lives in California, said to me, you know, watch the property, Brother David, and I have over the years, for 14 years. And I keep trying through the property maintenance to get some help. I'm not sure about what the process has been so far with John Growler. I know he was on vacation, but I left numerous requests to have whoever owns the property to deal with that problem of the jungle in the back. Thank you.
Brother, what I just.
I got it.
415 Penn Street.
Should I go up here?
Yep, please.
Alright, good evening, this is, the Hams family from 137A Morningside Lane. I was here about a month ago with my father, inquiring about the pavement that they repaved last year. I believe, Mr. Lorenzo and associate came out to check it out, but I just wanted to know what are the next steps that we have to do to possibly find a resolution to get that fixed, so that, probably hurricane season's coming in any soon, so we definitely don't wanna get another flood in our house, so I just want to follow up on that request. Thank you.
My name is Youngmin Jung, 50 East Palisade Boulevard. I believe this is very true for me. There is no such as government funded. It's all taxpayers funded. I have a problem with resolution 2022-222 about a lease agreement with the BSJ Realty LLC on 460 Bergen Boulevard. One of the council women just asked about it, do you just like municipal authority and the mayor and council has a blueprint or exact plan to move out and just, you know, like make this lease agreement on this property. So I believe, as a resident, just I heard about all the Moore's problem for many months. I participated, you know, like mayors and councils monthly regular meetings, and I know you did a lot of investigations, and I don't know still, as a resident, as I just brought about the reference point about there is no government funded, this is wasting money or not, I'm not sure. So I request, like, you know, please inform us about like what the condition right now of this municipal complex. Is this really hazardous and very dangerous, or like just really just an emergent matter? Why just you need like a lot of lease agreement? We want to know, we have a right to know about our current, you know, like detailed condition of this building. Because this is very hazardous, we cannot have this like regular meeting. Yeah, I believe so. So I want, not like you just like sign on the lease agreement with taxpayers' money to use it to just pay for like, you know, lease agreement and then let us know about your detailed plan. I don't agree with that. So please tell us first before you sign up. But I don't know already this is consent agenda. I'm really disappointed about you. This is already consent agenda. Please tell us as a resident, I want to know about your detailed plan with municipal complex. Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
One more, sir. Yes, there.
Ladies Potter, 44 Glen Avenue. I have a question for the councilwoman Cindy Pereira. I have a quick question. She mentioned about the food that she said we have a good season, and we all know it was a good season because of weather. But it seemed like last year we made more, regardless of being a good season this year. I wanna know what was the difference about that? And I have a comment about the consent agenda 226, 225. I see that you guys already make a decision regarding this situation, the two officers. And I wanna ask the council and the mayor and the administration, how are we gonna show sample to the officers that are young officer here if we don't make a sample when an officer make a mistake? How are we gonna show them that this is how we're gonna do it? If I do something wrong, I have to pay them to not get a reward. Anybody who makes something wrong has to get the consequence for that, and I see that you guys is not making a decision for that. As a resident, I have a question, why you guys make that decision? Every time an officer made a mistake, and I have a record of that, they put it in the freezer and then they take it out and rehire. That's something that is unacceptable. It should not be okay, because everybody here know what I'm talking about. That we've been doing that in the past, and I think it should not be like that. It should be a sample for the person, the police officer who are becoming a police officer, to see if you're not doing the right thing, you're gonna get a consequence. And I think we not implement that. And I always come here and talk this thing, and I wanna, invite all the council and the mayor and every other public here. My daughter is doing a very nice project. She opened a little free library. It will be the first one in Palisade Park. That's a project that she's always wanted. And Juan and I, we are helping her with that. And it's gonna be a grand opening in front of my house, August 21st, that will be Wednesday at 6:30. All are welcome, all are invited, and this is, free. You get a book, free, you bring a book, and it's all free for the community. Thank you.
I have no complaint. Thank you.
No,
Question? No, there's no question.
you're only allowed to get up once.
Sorry?
The public is only allowed one opportunity to speak. Those are rules.
There's been a lot of stuff online. Somehow, someone on the council, I don't know who, seems to be leaking certain information to certain people that go online and then disseminate it to anybody who wants to read it. Could you please, if you're on the council, you talk amongst yourselves, that's fine. But stuff that is involved with the council, like people's salary and stuff like that, I don't think it's anybody's business unless that particular person wants to tell the other person. So in the future, have your meetings here, fine, but if you're gonna talk about other people, then expect somewhere along the way, you're gonna get talked about in the same way that you're talking about other people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I need 1 minute.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll, you got one chance. No. Anyone else?
My name is Peter Longo, 16 Central Boulevard. I was just questioning the new appointment of firefighter chief emergency manager officer. I know this is a new position. I'm curious, because I looked on my phone and maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it's posted on the website. I didn't see it. Where and when was it posted? How much is the salary for that position? And also, how many people were interviewed for this position? That's all I have to ask. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My son was here, he spoke to my case, and the morning I ran on Thursday, and Mr. Lorenzo and Austin coming in last month after 10 days. I just want to know in September and October, very heavy rain times and thunderstorms, so please make sure as soon as possible you're deciding, please. And that's my point. I know you're working hard, please, 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 thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor, give me 1 minute.
So, and I have to give everyone else a second chance as well,
Okay.
so. I got a motion to close.
Take a
the
look.
public comment.
Yes, answer the question.
Yeah.
You made a motion? Yes. Second, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Which one? Tell me the question, I'll tell you.
Okay, so the first question from Susan Brown was
Who's
about
the
the
answer?
t-shirts. So these t-shirts that the police department required for some of their activities and some of the things that they do. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
The second question was from, I believe his name is Mr. Tomaso, from 300 Highland Avenue. John, I'll leave that one to you. That's the comptroller's report.
All right, so, and again, I probably have addressed this, this has gotta be the fifth or sixth time with respect to the state controls. First of all, contrary to the statement that was made, the state controls report in terms of sick time was not clear to everyone. That's why when the Record ran an article about 4 weeks ago, 90% of the municipalities that they contacted were not doing it correctly, just like we were. 90%. So apparently it wasn't that clear to everybody else. Secondly, some of the towns, not Palisade Park, we have changed our policies in accordance with the state controls report, but some municipalities and public entities do not agree with it and are still continuing to pay out the sick days annually, which was the major issue with the state controls report. So not only wasn't it as clear as you made it out to be, or stated, but some towns still aren't even following it because they think the state controls report was wrong. Palisade Park did not take that position. With respect to the practices with the gas allowances, those policies were in place long before Mr. Lorenzo became the business administrator, the borough administrator. They were changed as well. The $110,000 was for every municipal vehicle in the borough, which, how many municipal vehicles are there? 100. That's 100 municipal vehicles. So 100 municipal vehicles, even if it's $1,000 a year, which is probably what gas costs, is probably $100,000. So that number is not as outrageous as someone would think, but be that as it may, all the policies with respect to gas were changed based upon the recommendations, not required, but based upon the recommendations of the state controls report. All of the recommendations were put into place. So, again, all the recommendations in the state controls reports have been implemented. The sick pay provision is not as clear as many municipalities have interpreted it the same way that Palisade Park did. We have changed our policies while the municipalities are still contesting the state controls interpretation. And the gas allowances have been corrected and were in place long before, actually long before not only Mr. Lorenzo, but I think anybody else on this governing body was even in office. So those were just practices that existed and that they will continue. With respect to resolutions 225 and 226, no charges were filed. So I know that was put out to the public. No charges were filed against any of the police officers with respect to those resolutions. What was done was a resolution was made prior to the filing of any charges, which resulted in the resignation of 2 police officers. In terms of a consequence, I myself, and I think most objective people would consider resigning and giving up your position is a significant consequence to anything that you may have taken. So contrary to people believing there wasn't a consequence, yes, giving up your position in the police department is a consequence. That was what was agreed to. And again, that was not the result. No charges were filed against either police officer that led to the resolution of this matter. Is there anything else I need?
Well, that's mostly for you, John, to get involved. The other one was, with regard to, Brother David on, concerns about 415 10th Street. Brother, we'll look into that. We'll make sure that that property is maintained and put back into, proper order. The pool season numbers for this year as opposed to last year, I can't answer that question. I don't think anyone here can. I don't have the pool ending numbers for this year present yet because it didn't end. And we don't have last year's numbers in front of us. But when it ends, we'll give you a comparison if you'd like. And Mr. Longo was talking about the position for the OEM. The person who was in that position is the same person who was in the position Prior to this, I had interviewed him myself. And then as far as leaking information to the public by Ms. Shaw, John, I believe you addressed, Mrs. Scatino, I believe you addressed that again tonight at the meeting.
Yes, I have advised the council in the past, I put it verbally and in writing, you're 100% correct. Privileged information, or what they call deliberative information, so in other words, decisions that the council are contemplating but haven't made yet, that information should not be released to the public. That's a borough policy, that's the way, the statute, that's why you have closed session, because the individual who's ever being discussed has a right to privacy if they request it. And of course, if someone's going to release that information, you're violating that individual's right to privacy. And in addition to that, if it involves litigation, you're disclosing information that could impose or put the borough's position in terms of litigation in jeopardy or liability. So you're 100% correct. Hopefully, that will no longer happen. But unfortunately, it has happened since that guidance was given to the governing body, and hopefully this will be the last time that we ever have to have this conversation, either from the public or from the, having to address it with the governing body.
And the last question we had was the gentleman, two gentlemen from 137. We went up and met them, yes, we did. The catch basins were jetted out. There is a situation which exists on the block. Unfortunately, it comes down to funding. And at this point, we're trying to find some type of funding to get this work done. We feel that they maybe have to modify another catch basin in the area. We didn't forget about you, we didn't give up on it. We're just trying to give you something.
How much funding are we talking about on an estimate basis?
I guess the bid would be somewhere between 30 to 50,000.
30 to 50,000 to fix it.
Peter, you didn't respond to my question.
Out of order, I apologize, I forgot to give our Captain Espino an opportunity to speak. No? No, it's over, so public participation is over.
Just to speak to Mr. Attorney, because thank you for explanation for the gas card and the city payout. Thank you. But still, I have questions.
So we're going into a closed session.
Peter,
I guess we should.
you didn't answer that.
Yes.
Raise your hand.
We have to go into.
Another closed session.
Yeah.
We will have to go into a closed session once more because we forgot an item, so.
David, we gonna have to take action on that?
I don't know, it's up to you guys.
All right, so further action may be taken, the action will be taken in public, and also the meeting will have to be adjourned in public, so we will resume hopefully in 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Gates,
That's all.
one question wasn't answered for the paving issue.
Peter.
137, like you said, we gotta try to find
Oh,
something.
my question wasn't answered either.
I did, I answered your question.
Salary, where was it?
It's in the
posted?
resolution, it was posted, I interviewed the guy myself.
Okay, yes, and the individual receiving the job, the individual receiving the job presently
He
is
already
a
has it.
fireman and is presently is the
One,
OEM. Oh, how much is the salary? $110,000.
Oh, so he get rehired, right? He's get rehired. So that was the consequence, get rehired.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was
We
100.
need a motion to.
It was 100.
100, yeah, rehired. After, sometimes rehired.
We'll be back in 10 minutes.
How they get paid?